The United States of America. 50 states that are pretty unique on their own, that are all combined together to form one great nation. However, what if none of that was true and all of the states were independent on their own? Well, in Worldbox today, that is exactly what we're going to be doing here. As you see right behind me, we have a map of all the contiguous US states right here completely on their own, with places like Texas, California, New York, and even states that you may have never even heard of before, like Nebraska, whatever that means. And today we're going to be simulating what would happen if this happened in real life. And this is not going to be a straight up battle royale where I put all the states at war with each other. We are going to let everything play out on their own. Some of these states may form alliances with each other, others will probably go to war and maybe even try to take over all of America. I have no clue what's going to happen, so let's get right into it. As we click on pause here, you're going to see that all of the kings of every state are going to go ahead and form their own language along with cultures, and probably a little later on even their own religions too, all of which will give them special powers and special advantages as well. You'll also probably notice that some states are combined here. Most of them are on their own, but North and South Carolina have been formed to just form one Super Carolina, and most of the irrelevant New England states have been formed into their own country as well. And I'm also starting to notice here that they straight up just got rid of New Jersey. It's probably for the best, I guess. But we will go ahead and turn on diplomacy and rebellions in here, meaning the chaos should begin very shortly. And another interesting thing that should add some spice to this video is the fact that I have the worldbox mod installed right here, which, as you can see right here, will finally allow these states to build their own factories, bunkers, and all sorts of different vehicles and weaponry as well, meaning things could get ugly fast. But as a few years pass here, nothing much has happened yet. All of these states are pretty much just learning how to fend for themselves, and this video will either last into one state takes over the entire world, or until the clock down here makes it to year 2026 to see what this kind of world would look like in our modern day. But as we see here, some things have already happened, as Illinois has declared war on Indiana. That actually makes a lot of sense, considering honestly most of the time I can't even tell the difference between these two states. But as they're going at it, I believe some more wars are erupting here. Yeah, Carolina has declared war on Tennessee over here. Oklahoma is at war with Arkansas, and even an alliance over here has formed called the Power of Nice, composed of Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and Wisconsin. I think they seem a bit out of place here, but we're going to rename them to the Northwest, and they are going to be a significant foe to deal with. Go ahead and pick your favorite state here that you want to win. I am from North Carolina, so that's who I want to win, but you can literally go with anyone here. And if you're watching this video and you're not from the US, I guess just like go with Texas or California or New York or wherever you've heard of. But as we continue beginning here, the Northwest Alliance is growing even larger. More states have joined, and they are now ganging up on Montana. I kind of feel bad for them up there. But actually zooming into the country here, we can see that all of these states are extremely packed with people, literally making every single state a contender to win this entire challenge. But we certainly have some front runners like Texas here, who is already invested into an entire factory. I know it's only 1735, but it seems like the Industrial Revolution has already began, as now they are gearing up for War II, and that would be with Oklahoma up here. I don't think they stand a chance at all. Illinois ends up taking Indiana, which is probably a lot more convenient. Now, I can't even get them confused in the first place. Alabama jumps in and declares war on Tennessee, which is actually going to save Carolina over here, who has no more troops, but is still at war with Tennessee as well. Surprisingly, so far, Florida has actually been pretty tame. I would expect them to be pretty crazy at this point. Same with California over here, who hasn't done nearly as much as I thought they would. But I'm glad to see that the world is already in full chaos over here, including North Carolina, who's now at war with Georgia and Arizona for some reason. I'm not even sure why that is. But yeah, they're definitely not long for much, I assume. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these kingdoms' mottos, if you will, because they're all randomly generated, and one of my favorite things to do in this game is just look at the random crap that the generator comes up with. Like Arizona's motto, we follow bread. Wyoming's motto, we like fish, which is actually pretty inconvenient considering they're like the most landlocked state of all time. And even New England's motto, we like tea, which is actually very ironic considering pretty much all of New England is specifically known for not liking tea. And interestingly enough here, it appears that a new state has opened up, the state of Brufrund right here, where Montana used to be. They are led by a 14-year-old. Yeah, I think this kid just like made up this whole state and everyone went with it. Okay, then let's just rename rename it from Montana to Hannah, Montana. There you go. Perfect. Florida has finally declared war on somebody, going up against Alabama, which took over Tennessee. Now they are huge. New Mexico goes to war with Colorado over here. The Northwest Alliance still exists, although its members are randomly scattered throughout all parts of the country here, no longer really in the Northwest. And the craziest thing to think about right now is how literally only like 20 years have passed since I clicked unpause at the start. Would these states really try and destroy each other this quickly if this happened in real life? Yeah, probably, actually. Yeah, okay, this kind of makes sense. And another new state has opened up called Winostage, right where Tennessee used to be. This time led by an 8-year-old. Fantastic. And so we're going to rename this one from Tennessee to Tennessee. Somehow my favorites in North Carolina are still alive, as they have somehow almost completely destroyed Georgia. Look at this, completely decimated. And they'll actually begin taking the state. Wow, I can't believe they're still alive and winning, as even more chaos erupts here. We are already down to just 34 states left. The most powerful in terms of population being Texas, Washington, New Mexico, and Illinois. But the alliances are actually growing quite large now, such as a new one called the Powerful Grains of Air, and of course the Northwest, which still exists, including North Carolina, who have decided to join. That's probably a very smart move, as now they are very protected from any new threats, as they have taken this new land to their advantage, building a couple of factories and even getting a couple of tanks too. North Carolina might actually stand a fighting chance here. Of course, some places like Texas are so big that they don't even need an alliance, as they are bigger than most already. But this is why I like having alliances on, because in a typical battle royale video, Texas would probably have already won by now, but since some of these little guys can form alliances, everyone has a chance. And Texas continues pushing up north, now up at war against Nebraska. And now North Dakota has taken over South Dakota, so there's no more Dakotas, so I guess we should change their name from North Dakota to just Dakota. And it is now year 1776, and needless to say, the United States looks a tad bit different. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why, but these three states have decided to just go straight north with their expansion, like Arizona, which literally goes from like right here over by the Pacific Ocean all the way up to Canada now, along with Texas and New Mexico too, although New Mexico is in a huge war right now against the Northwest Alliance. Things are not going to be looking good for them. Oh, well, that's interesting. Dakota just took New Mexico, meaning that I guess they're South Dakota. Again, I'm not going to worry about this. But the more interesting thing is that Texas has joined this conflict here on the side of New Mexico, meaning they are both at war with the Northwest Alliance here, and I'm not quite sure if they're gonna win this time, because Texas's army, as you would probably expect, is huge, meaning these guys are gonna be gaining so much new ground after this land. I'm not sure if there's even gonna be a chance for anyone else, especially as they've invested into a couple more factories over here too, meaning their military is going to be even stronger. And somehow New Mexico was finally destroyed, and now interestingly enough, the only state over here left is Dakota, although they've lost North and South Dakota, so I guess they're West Dakota now. I guess we'll change it to be that. Their entire story has just been so weird, but I believe they're about to get destroyed by Texas, and yep, now they are out of the picture, as Texas is absolutely huge, literally splitting the US in half. The next most powerful state is Arizona, and then Washington, but even their two populations combined is still less than Texas. But I still find it interesting how places like California and even Florida have literally just decided to do nothing almost this entire time. There are just 17 states left here, and once some of these big states start going to war with each other, it's gonna get bad. As a matter of fact, Texas has an artillery tank here, I believe, that has over 130 kills. It looks like their industrialization has paid off and has played a huge role in them actually being a threat to be afraid of. However, looking at the tank here, it also says it has a house. Let's just go over there and check. I guess it does. And also like how down here it shows the residents of the house, meaning there's just 3 other completely normal people who live in here and have to share it with a freaking tank. And unfortunately, there goes the Carolinas, fallen to Washington of all places, but not Washington DC right here like you would expect. Washington State, like the one all the way over here. But a big deal about taking North Carolina is that they actually have a couple of factories over here, as you can see, meaning Washington will get even stronger. And Florida has finally done something, going in to attack Alabama, and in the process they have made a couple factories of their own, including a helicopter factory here. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, the borders of this video have certainly gotten weird. Like Arizona over here, who controls this strip of land, then this strip of land over by the Mississippi River, and then Maine for some reason. I have no clue. But there are still a couple of alliances that exist here, like the Deadly Titans of the Void. What a cool name. Composed of Michigan, Washington, Florida, and Ohio. I feel like one of these kind of sticks out against the rest. But as people continue fighting, I'm noticing that world population is getting a little bit too high. Almost 15,000 people currently alive here. And I just think that we should do a little something here to spice it up. So how about we turn on angry villagers? So essentially what that means is we're making all of these states extremely racist. It's gonna get bad. But as California falls like here, we're down to just 7 states. All of them honestly extremely powerful, with Ohio kind of just chilling here still. I'm not quite sure what they're really doing. But still, I haven't seen any necessarily massive wars yet. Looks like Washington just declared war on New York, which is pretty big, but it seems like all of these really big kingdoms are just ignoring attacking one another, like Arizona and Texas. And these guys' technology will make it even more interesting, like Texas's tank right here, who is currently located in his house. Well, I guess he really does live there after all. I wonder if they make him do the dishes in there. And as we pass 1850 now, a giant war has broken out. Texas has declared war on Washington state, but remember their alliance here, so they're also at war with Michigan and Florida too. Oh god, this is bad. This war is honestly extremely balanced. Both Texas's and the Titans alliance population is falling rapidly. Now Texas is below the Titans. Maybe the Titans can actually take down the real Titan, as Texas is falling here. They're losing states like North and South Dakota, Wisconsin, and the southeast US over here has also been encircled too. Oh god. It seems like they're finally about to meet their end here. But of course, this wouldn't be a real war if there wasn't some really weird things going on, like Florida taking control of all of the Midwest and the North. But Texas is beginning to make a little bit of a comeback here. They still have well over 1,000 troops that they can use. And like other places like Washington only have 100. Michigan only has 20. And same with Florida too. I think Texas is actually winning here by a lot. They're just being attacked on so many different sides that they don't know what to do. And holy crap, Arizona just declared war on Washington. I think it's over for them. Look how much fighting is going on. World population is plummeting. Total deaths is soaring up. Ironically, Arizona declared war on Washington right around the time that the US Civil War actually began. And I guess this is how the Titans alliance finally crumbles here. Arizona taking down Washington. Texas making a comeback here, about to get rid of Florida. Indiana is just straight up destroyed, like it's no longer there. It's gone now. The actual state of Washington itself is about to fall very soon, as they are on their last leg. Also, I'm just looking into the actual map here. I like how in Seattle they have a watchtower over here like the needle. That's pretty funny. But as Washington state falls like that, I'm beginning to notice that now Washington has just been put on the East Coast. So they have literally just turned into Washington, D.C. And their motto is "We like tea." Was that the motto the whole time? Jeez, holy crap. They literally just turned into New Englanders, didn't they? They're also led by a 3-year-old. That's just kind of random, but I thought I'd mention that. But now the entire western U.S. is secured by Texas and Arizona as they begin pushing east on the final time. Michigan is destroyed. Ohio is finally getting destroyed. I like how they still lasted longer than Michigan despite literally doing nothing. Florida is down to 4 people and Washington is about to fall. But I just want to go ahead and look in here into the map, and I want you guys to notice something. Let's just zoom in from over here in Texas all the way to, yeah, over here. Jesus Christ. This is actually one of the biggest active war zones I've ever seen in this game. Everything is just destroyed. Over 100,000 people have died. Carolina falls, Florida falls, leaving just the final outpost of Washington. But even when they fall, it's still not quite over yet, as we're gonna have 2 superpowers left that are gonna have to face against each other. Texas versus Arizona. But Washington finally falls to Texas, leaving just 2 left. All of the states split among Arizona and Texas. And I also like how they absolutely have no pattern or semblance at all. Like, why the hell does Texas own Nevada? But before these 2 break out in a final conflict to see who's the best. Let's just take a look at the most interesting people here, namely who has the most kills. SPG 349, a tank from Texas. Wait a minute, is it the same tank? I think it is. 243 kills. How do we... Oh, wait, I know how to actually make sure it's him. Let's check where his house is. Yep, it's the exact same house as well. Jesus Christ. I don't know why. It's just so funny to me imagining this tank coming home from like a long day of war or whatever every night. It's like a sitcom, but like a really, really crappy sitcom. I'd still watch it though. And both guys begin recovering and gaining their populations. And even though there is a lot of destruction in some of these states that Texas now controls, this is actually a really good thing because as you can see, when these ruins clear, they can build factories there, which is going to help their war effort immensely. And holy crap, the war has already begun. I didn't even notice it here. Ironically, it is 1944, so this is technically their version of World War II. Arizona's population is falling, and so is Texas's too, but I think Arizona is getting decimated here. They didn't really have enough time to recover. Now less than half of Texas's population, as Texas just begins leveling the whole place. And ironically, they actually take the actual state of Arizona now, leaving just a bunch of posers over here. And Texas begins pushing more and more here. Arizona's trying their best. California falls, and the final push is here. Just one state left, and as it's about to fall, I just want to check, what is the final kill count of this war? Just this one alone. In the war deemed the Clash of the Broken Future, almost 7,000 total died, actually being a pretty even split between both sides. But with that, Arizona falls, meaning that in the year 1987, the next champion of the United States is Texas. And that is about all for today here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you made it this far in the video, clearly I did something to entertain you, so I'd appreciate it if you would click like and subscribe. Join my Discord too, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.